Has announced it's embarking on a retrenchment exercise in line with Section 189 of the Labour Relations Act as part of its restructuring strategy. Now, the retrenchment exercise was earlier put on hold after labour unions opposed the idea. In the latest sign of clear intent, the SABC issued a notice to employees of an intention to proceed with retrenchments. Out of the institution's approximately 3,400 permanent employees, 981 are said to be retrenched. The public broadcaster will see 1,200 freelancers out of 2,400 affected. It estimates that the process will result in cutting costs by about 400 million rand per annum. A consultation process with organised labour will be scheduled, facilitated by the Commission for Conciliation, Mediation and Arbitration. All employees at all levels in the SABC will be affected by the restructuring. For more on this, I'm joined from our Pretoria studios by Hannes du Boisson from trade union BEMAWU. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. What's your reaction to the SABC's announcement?
Well, we are obviously shocked by this decision and saddened at the same time that the SABC has elected to proceed with these retrenchments. We thought after they served the defective Section 189 notice in September earlier this year, that once they do all of the calculations, that they would then see that it's in fact not necessary to proceed with these retrenchments. But yeah, unfortunately, late yesterday afternoon, employees were served with a new amended Section 189 notice.
Yesterday, we spoke to someone from the SABC's Human Resources who said the SABC's wage bill is about 3 billion rand. That's over half of their revenue, and it's unsustainable to keep all of these people employed, and they have no choice but to start the retrenchment process.
Well, we believe that they have another choice. Of course, it is a very quick solution to cut heads, to butcher about 2,200 people, put them out on the street. That is a quick solution, but that is not necessarily the correct solution. What should happen first is, of course, if one look at the salary bill of the SABC versus the revenue, that would demonstrate at this point an imbalance. But what should happen is for the SABC to attempt to increase its revenue. There are a massive lot of opportunities for the SABC to do so without the necessity to put people out on the street. What is of course of concern is the fact that the SABC, we believe, are currently not following the process. This notice that has been served is paying simply lip service to the Act. As we speak, the SABC is currently filling positions, they're advertising. Now, you know, in anyone's books, that does not make sense. You cannot say on the one hand that I am overstaffed, and then on the other hand, you keep on employing people. Of course, there is also a legal obligation on the SABC to redeploy employees so affected. And by filling those positions now, before that Section 189 process, they are in fact denying employees inside the SABC to then be redeployed to those positions. So there seems to be something sinister about this whole process. It seems that the SABC management, the current ones, are hell-bent to get rid of current SABC employees and then want to fill those positions with other people from outside the SABC. And that, if that is true, then of course that is very sad.
Are you going to approach the Labour Court because you believe they haven't followed due process? And then also, how do you balance the interest of the mandate of the public broadcaster, which is to inform, educate and entertain the South African public, and also this being a way of them trying to fulfill that mandate with the fact that those employee numbers may be standing in the way of that? How do you balance those interests, those competing interests?
Well, in terms of the first question, whether we are going to approach the Labour Court, of course, we are in process of putting the SABC on terms in terms of the process. We want to have clarity on them, why are they continuing to fill positions whilst they're on the other hand saying that they have too many employees. And then, of course, we are gravely concerned about the fact we know that there's an election coming up next year. We know that the SABC traditionally would hire more people for that particular period of the election because there is much more resources that needs to be redeployed. So we think that if there is a need for people, for the SABC to do away with certain positions in its new structure, then this is not the time, most certainly not the time to embark on such a process. Going into elections with staff morale rock bottom is not going to serve the public of South Africa.
Hannes de Boisson from BEMAWU, thanks so much for your time on SABC News.